you know, you see the spurs of it at the age. This is, you know, Allah tells us that He developed us from the sperm cell, right? But now you come to grow and develop, and now you want to be an adversary to me? What is an adversary? A person, group, or force that opposes or attacks opponent, enemy, foe. A person, group, etc. that is an opponent in a contest or contestant, the adversary, the devil or Satan or Shaitan, right? So now, let's look at this. This is seen from God, all right? I want you to see this. This is these people. This is the power of a whisper, right? Shaitan whispers these ideas and these suggestions, and these people carry it out. And that's why I said it's so deep. When you think of whisper, it's like nothing. Oh, whisper.
No, it's
very powerful. It can be very powerful, especially when you're telling somebody to do something wrong, right?
And they have no concept of.
They're above.
Right.
They're above the moral law. That's what these elitists told us. They're above the moral law. They don't care. This doesn't apply to them. Killing people doesn't apply to them. They're above that because they're superior. This is what they think. Right? And this next clip, this one, Brother Umar sent me, right? And I want you to see this because I found this very interesting. This was a little girl. She's already died, and she's with her dad, right? But it's confirmation to those who believe, right? Last moments captured of this Palestinian girl. She tells her father she sees two angels before her, one up, one down, all good, beautiful, she tells her father. And if you watch her, her eyes are transfixed. And usually when you see people that pass, as they're passing, their eyes are transfixed, just like that, right? She's looking past her father because the veil is being lifted. She's starting to see the unseen world. But then you look at the verse. Quran chapter 50, verse 17. Behold, two guardian angels appointed to learn his doings. Learn and noted them. One sitting on the right and one on the left. Surely we have created man and we know the promptings of his heart. And we are nearer to him than even his jugular vein. Moreover, there are two scribes, one each sitting on the right and the left, recording everything. He utters not a word, but there is a vigilant watcher at hand. In the Quran, telling us these things, you know. For those who do not believe, it is the same to them whether you warn them or you do not warn them. They will certainly not believe. Indeed, those who disbelieve equal on them whether you warn them or do not warn them. They will not believe. Allah is telling us, no matter what proof, no matter what evidence that he shows them, they will not believe. Okay? They will not believe. So it says not to fret yourself over them. You know, these are people, I mean, it's told to us that this message isn't for everybody. People are not going to believe. That's why there's a hellfire, right? And he says, even if we did send unto them angels, and the dead did speak unto them, and we gathered together all things before their very eyes, they are not the ones to believe unless it is in Allah's plan. But most of them ignore the truth. Now, there's a new Thunderbolts movie. Anybody see it? All right.
No.
That Marvel movie, right? You know about it? Thunderbolts? No? Okay. All right. So Thunderbolts is supposed to be the new Avengers. Okay. All right.
All right. Assalamu alaikum.
And this was a quote that they had in this movie. It says, "Righteousness without power is just an opinion." Righteousness without power is just an opinion. But what does Allah tell us about righteousness? Righteousness is not in turning your faces toward the east or the west. Rather, the righteous are those who believe in Allah, the last day, the angels, the books, and the prophets, who give charity out of their cherished wealth to relatives, orphans, the poor, needy, travelers, beggars, and for freeing captives, who establish prayer, pay alms or tax, and keep the pledges they make, and who are patient in times of suffering, adversity, and in the heat of battle. It is they who are true in faith, and it is they who are mindful of Allah. This is what Allah tells us about belief and about righteousness, right? Righteousness is the key to your salvation. When you live righteously, it's the key to your salvation. But they tell us ain't no power in it. Right? It's just an opinion. It's just an opinion, right?
I think that term is used and floated freely because righteousness is a how can I say it? Righteousness is something that is done for a reason, but the reason is always unseen. So it's just like, for instance, you ask a person, why do y'all pray all the time? Tell me what you see. So it's righteous to pray, but because you can't see the end result of the prayer, that's why it says that's what happens.
Right.
So I think that when we understand the reality of faith, and that's why there's a description, alladhina amanu wa taqullah, or you who believe in Allah, because when Allah speaks to humanity, everybody don't get it.
Right.
So it's just like, just like when the sun shines, and for us, for those who are believers, what we have gotten out of everything that Allah shows us is it like a plant. A plant operates off of water that's given to it. And as that water is given to the plant, when it's pure and clean water, then the plant thrives. But if you give a plant water that's foul or filthy, the person is drinking it like they're going to rebel, whatever they basically do. But I think that that more important, that one of the things that we have to come to the realization of, and that is that the things that we have been taught to believe in are not things we're going to see with our physical eyes. And because we don't see them with our physical eyes, everything is about touch, see, feel, taste.
Things you can manipulate.
Exactly. And that's what, and this is what we find that goes on in the world. I was just thinking about even like coming over here. I know that we didn't get to see that it was going to be this big roots picnic, but there's two things that's done to our children, and our children have been destroyed. Two things have happened to them. They've been fed two things, and those two things, you can look and you can see it all day long. Elijah said, stay away from these two things. We didn't understand it. He said, stay away from sport and play. And the other one is television, which what it does is that it steals your way of thinking. It steals it from you. You don't even know that it's stolen from you, but it begins to shape and mold and fashion the opinion. You just said this now. It fashions the opinion. So when a person gets into what we call sport and play, or they get into the field of like athleticism, they become engrossed in it. Excellent word. They become engrossed in it. By becoming engrossed in it, what happens is that people now begin to take sides. They're watching. No, man, like I'm with the Eagles, man. You with the who? The guy that we work with, he said, man, look, man, they ain't the Eagles no more, man, they pigeons. So you got, hey, you call my team a pigeon, And I think that while some people don't look at the reality of the perception, and that's what the whole thing is. It's all about perception, because man does not see with his eyes. Man sees with his mind.
But it's a term I put on it is controlled perception.
Oh, definitely.
They control our perceptions of reality, right? That's just like when we watch the thing with the little boy, right? How they controlled our perception. So the thing is that, I'm gonna show you something. Show you something. A couple interesting things. All right. First thing I want you to see is this. All right. Let me see. All right. Oh yeah. 140. All right. Here we go. This.
What could this travesty mean for the future of our republic? It mean for the
All right.
And have to have it set.
So I want you to listen to this guy. He was some type of attorney.
In place a world establishment that operated a certain way. And President Trump has asked questions like, why do we do this way? Why don't people pay?
This was during the first Trump presidency.
Why doesn't Germany and France, why don't they pay 2% into NATO? And these kind of questions, which again has completely upset the apple cart, he is being punished for this. And again, I'm a former prosecutor, and what I know is this is a perfect time for preliminary hearing, where you would say, show us your evidence. What evidence of a crime do you have? I mean, the Constitution, sort of abuse of power is not a crime.
Abuse of
power is not a crime.
That's why you got those George Floyd cases and all this police abuse, because the top, at the top, they're saying abuse of power is not a crime.
Abuse in itself is a crime. So what are you talking about?
Fundamentally boil it down to, the Constitution is very clear that this has to be some pretty egregious behavior.
But that interesting statement. Abuse of power is not a crime, right?
And he's a former prosecutor.
Yeah. So you see how the mentality is spread out, right? Because if he's at the top,
exactly,
right?
What are they doing down there?
Now this is a quote from a justice, William O. Douglas says, "As nightfall does not come all at once, neither does oppression. In both instances, there is a twilight when everything remains seemingly unchanged. And it is in such a twilight that we all must be most aware of change in the air, however slightless we become, unwitting victims of the darkness," right? There is some stuff coming down the line, and we have no clue, and it's going to be bad, right?
That statement you have right there. Muslims, and I use this term emphatically, Muslims are unaware that they have already reached into our religion and they are controlling us in the same way. Because, and again, I'm going back to what Elijah said. Take a clean glass of water and set it next to a dirty glass of water. You see the clean glass of water, as long as you have eyes to see.
Right.
But if you don't have eyes to see, and you put two of them down with a blind man and say, here's some water right here. And he shakes his head, okay, this is water. This is water too, okay. All right, I'll take this one, I'll drink it.
Absolutely.
So for so many of us, Allah says in the Quran from the very beginning, He says, "Iqra," read. Allah tells us to read, to read, to read. And what ends up happening is that because we don't read, okay, this is the result of right now, today, a whole generation of children. We're going to have to make a decision as to what to do with them. That's the reality. White people have already made that decision. That's why they throw in the jails with them.
Yep.
What do we do for those who are left, who continue to strike out and destroy each other in the process? And I know you're talking about the families, but I think that it's important that for us, we have to come to the realization, and this is why the program you do is so important. This is, we can't overlook this at all. This is critical in terms of where we need to be at right now, in this day and time, in this moment. And Allah's the best of plans. That's why Allah gave it to you. He said, this is what it is. However, because of the music, people have an affinity for it. All I do is say, man, for white people, Taylor Swift, drop everything, let's go, boom. Okay. Roots picnic, drop everything, we going. But what are you going to get while you're there, other than a good feeling?
Right. Now it's funny because I did something before called modern day paganism. Right. So when you think about it, back in the day, they would make the idols of stone and wood, right? Now they've created living, breathing idols, right? When people see Michael Jackson, passing out. Beyonce, passing out. It's worship. They are worshiping these celebrities. And that's why they call them stars, right? But we're going to talk about that a little bit later with the star thing, right? That's a little further down the line, but it's very interesting. They have created living, breathing idols. These are idols of back in the day of the prophets. They just alive.
But now they're starting to wake up. Some of those idols are beginning to talk, and when those idols start talking, they kill them. You think about them. I'll give you a good example. Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was good when he was doing certain things. Michael Jackson made that record. They don't really care about us. And the thing about it is, the people who understood what he was saying, he said, "Oh, this guy, he had been leading up to it the whole time.
Right.
They don't really care about. They don't really care about us." And then he kept repeating it, and as he was repeating it, the music was hitting.
It's like
boom, boom. So what it was is that it was waking up the consciousness. Okay, and only certain people saw that. So when they begin to see it, what did they do? They took another level of music, which is gangster rap, and records like that, and said, we can appeal with the same force, but with a whole different perception. And that's what, and this is the thing I think that that we have to really look at. We have to ask ourselves.
Ooh, y'all always get me to jump around in this presentation.
It's all connected. It's all connected.
Oh my goodness!
Because as that gangster rap was coming out, the private prison industry started raising up.
Of course.
And it was a way to direct people into those jail cells, by influencing their minds and their conduct out in this environment. And that it's all one. If you do the investigation, you'll find some of those same people at the top of those industries were working together just for money.
Well, going back to abortions, the thing was that when they start talking about it, they were basically talking about us. They had to find a way to stop us because we was procreating fast. There's no qualm about it, But what happened is that when their sons and daughters saw it, they said, "Oh, well, we want to have fun too." So what did they start doing? They started doing it. Now, I only say that because when we start looking at the impact you know, where we were at then
Mm.
and where we are at now. Okay, the difference is they took it to a different level. They said, okay, they got hip to us with the abortion. Give these niggas some gun, let them shoot each other.
Mm-hmm.
Open up the jails. Okay, so you take young men, put them in jail, they can't procreate. Okay, you give them guns, they're gonna kill each other. So now we have the person that was in the process of procreating, he's out the way now. Okay, and what ends up happening is the third part that really gets it is this, and this is what Allah told us. He warned us about it. To get rid of the person, who's left to raise the child? The mother.
Mm-hmm.
What does the hadith say about the mother? It says, in the last days, the children would make a slave of the mother.
Mm.
They wouldn't listen to him.
Mm.
Now this is Quran.
You missed something we just tackled, brother. But the thing is, too, is what's the leading cause of death in African American?
Murder.
Oh yeah, it is murder. Abortion.
Yeah.
The leading cause of death in African Americans is abortion.
Because I was going to say, if it wasn't murder, then like it was going to be health issues.
It's murder, but it's just abortion.
Is it
currently?
Yeah.
Mm.
I know we always see protesters in the area that we live in that protest against abortion, but I didn't know it was like leading.
Oh yeah, that's why they would plant the Planned Parenthood clinics in the black neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
They get a lot of money off of
fetuses.
Mm-hmm. The remains.
Mm-hmm.
Like they got companies that buy those remains and they do
Make
research
all kind
and
of stuff.
testing.
Yeah.
Right. But the thing is, I did a presentation. Maybe I'll send you all the clip. But it was very interesting, and I was telling people what an abortion is, and when you see that, it's horrible. I mean, I couldn't even watch it myself when I first put the clips together, but it's horrible to think this is being